So let me go ahead and just pull up Victor here, and we'll jump right into this thing and talk about the aliens' expectations, and of course, get into Kelly Olynyk, Bismack Biyombo, and Luke Cornett as well. Rebounding and size galore, Ethan. We are ready for it.
Pause.
There you go.
But yeah, I echo everything that Jude just said. Having 2 7-footers on the team truly is a beautiful sight, Jude.
100%. And I may have not reiterated this enough, but I'm dishing it to you, my guy.
What
are your expectations for Victor Wembanyama this year?
It always feels weird talking about expectations for Victor Wembanyama because whatever we say, we know that his expectations are higher, and he will likely exceed them, both of them. But I think I said it in an earlier video this offseason. I have MVP expectations of Victor Wembanyama. Maybe not MVP winner, but MVP candidate come the end of the year when we're actually having these discussions. Because realistically, we think we're going to be pushing for that playoff spot. And maybe we're 7 or 8 seed, but I think we both agree that that's kind of where the team's expectations need to be. And if you're in that realm and Victor Wembanyama is averaging close to 30 points a game, double-digit rebounds, 3 to 4 blocks, and I think without a doubt will be a DPOY. He's got to be the favorite at this point, right? And if he gets through, was it 55 games? I think he absolutely wins that award. So you have those elements involved. I think MVP is without a doubt within his grasp. And I know we haven't broken down media day yet, but I've only seen a couple clips, but he looks more than confident, and and the aura is just oozing off of this guy. And we saw the offseason that he had working with just about every single person in the world on improving his game and his mentality. I think the rest of the league needs to be very, very scared about what he's about to do.
Well, dude, I sent you a picture today. I'm pretty sure I did. And it was just a screenshot of him like in front of the green screen
Yeah.
and all the people in front of him. And it looks like a poster. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
even look real. I saw him in person once, but I wasn't in the nosebleeds, but I was a little bit high up. I mean, and he still stood out. Obviously he looks real in real life, but that picture, dude, literally doesn't look real. But I could go on and on about that. It's funny you open up with the MVP talk, man, because as much as we're Spurs fans and we're biased, and just to be blunt, when we're talking about Wemby, we're homers 100%. I was thinking to myself today, like after I got through, I was going to see how the episode went, of course. But after I got through all of my bullet points that I had written down, I was going to ask you that question. I was going to say, is Victor Wembanyama, like, is it reasonable to think that he could be an MVP candidate this year? And here's what I'll say, dude. I think he'll be in that conversation, even if it's 7 or 8, like you said. But if we can get into the top 6, like if we elevate that, if we exceed our expectations, you know what I mean, that we think are realistic, then not only will he be in the conversation, he will be like a legit contender. Like, I'm going to lay this out to you. Do you think it's that crazy? Like, if the Spurs somehow, if he just goes insane, Dylan Harper hits, the Fox tandem is just completely different. Keldon and Devin are playing better. Jeremy's found his role. Like, everything just works out perfect. You know what I mean? And we're like the 4 seed. You know what I mean? 4 or 3 seed or something like that. Or I'll just go conservative. We're the 4 seed. Like, I think he could be like, he would have a legit argument at that point in the Western Conference. And as much as, like, you and I talk about how we think guys like Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, and Keldon Johnson, are underrated and get too much crap. In comparison to some of these other rosters in the West, if the Spurs were to pull that off, again, I think that would be a real argument for Victor. What are your thoughts on that?
I think without a doubt, if he's a top 4 seed, I think he wins it immediately.
I agree.
I still think he's a candidate if we're a top 8 seed, 4 through 8, I should say. And I'm trying to think of the guys that would be in the same running. I think obviously it's going to be Shea and Nikola, like they're guarantees at the 1 and 2. Jason Tatum's hurt. Giannis, his team sucks, so maybe not. Luka, but Luka's been putting up the nasty numbers for years, and he's never been like a real candidate.
And he's with LeBron too.
And he's with LeBron. That will absolutely hurt him. And I think also we have the NBA narrative. We have Adam Silver on our side. Like they want Victor to win an
It's so
MVP
nice.
probably. Yeah. They want it just as much as we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they didn't with Timmy. They
No.
didn't. They didn't with Timmy, Tony, and Manu. So this is justice. Anyways, um,
Facts.
to get back to Vic overall, man, and not to just jump all over the place, but I'll kind of give what I wrote down. I didn't think I'd have a ton to write down for him, but when I started writing things down, it actually turned into the biggest list I have for anybody.
Mm.
And obviously these aren't criticisms, but it's just things that I'm looking for this season. And obviously a lot of the team's offense and defense revolves around this guy, so it kind of makes sense. But to be even more insane by the eye test on the court, which I'm sure will happen, to see stats more alien than we've ever seen. And I think we're already kind of starting to see that. But like, I'll jump into it. Like, if he can get 4 blocks this year,
Dude.
and be over 25 points or get close to 30, like that's just, again, those stats are alien. I'm sure there will be, like, in his career, even if it's not this season, Ethan, we're gonna see like Victor Wembanyama is the first player to average blank blank and blank blank, and it won't just be blocks and points. It'll probably be other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just ridiculous. Playing at least 60 to 70 games. I think I'd be cool with, mid 50s too. But I feel like 60s and 70s is a good range. I mean, look at year one. We rested him a lot, had a minutes restriction there, and still played 71. So I think 60, 70 is good. Again, dude, I feel bad even criticizing this guy because it's like he was incredible at both of these things last year and was one of our best 3-point shooters on the team. But when I think about, okay, just looking at Wemby and like where can he get better and where I'm sure does he want to even keep getting better, 3-point percentage and free throw percentage. If you look at those on the screen, he's at 83%. At the free throw line, he was at 79% the year before. So again, nothing crazy, but just continue to get that better. I think he's a good enough shooter to where he can increase that percentage. And then with the 3-point percentage, man, again, dude, I don't mean to harp on this forever, but isn't it just so insane that he took 3 more threes than the year prior and went up 3%?
Yeah, it's wild.
So again, I mean, he might even take more threes and still increase the percentage. But just because, I mean, this is so nitpicky. But I feel like Victor Wembanyama totally has the ability to eventually be a 40% 3-point shooter.
Mm.
And I think this year, he may not get there this year, but this will be another year in that progression, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Same thing with assists, dude. I think especially with the better roster this season, Ethan, I think he's definitely going to average the highest amount of assists he has in his career, because I think last year and even the year prior than that, he made great passes. We just weren't
Oh my
executing.
God.
So yeah. Think exactly. As I'm saying that, you're probably like, dude, he should have averaged like a triple double, which is exaggeratory, but he had so many good passes that we did not hit shots on. Okay, and then let me see here. Again, this is a long list, dude. I'm sorry.
You're good.
More offensive rebounding. So as you can see on the rebounding numbers, in his first year, it was 2 to 8. Last year, it was 1.8 to 9 on the rebounding total. Obviously, had one more rebound. Love to see that. And I think, the one thing I'll harp on here too, I think, like I mentioned with Jeremy, he's going to be a lot of more of those offensive rebounds if they play together on the cleanup duty, and you're going to want Vic running in transition already. But again, it's just one of those things. I see this, I'm like, Vic totally has the ability to get more offensive rebounds, and I'm sure he probably sees that, and he's like, I can probably do a little more there. Mm-hmm. And again, it won't even be that he'll get less defensive rebounds. He'll just be getting more rebounds overall.
Yeah.
So, this is so insane, dude. I feel so spoiled talking about this guy.
Yeah, it does feel weird criticizing him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't even know. Anyways, yeah, the next thing I have written down is decreasing turnovers.
Yeah, good point.
Again, I'm not even mad at him. You know what I mean? Put the ball in his hands every play, but I'm sure he would even say, yeah, I'd like to get that number down. Here's my stats for him. Get to 4 blocks, mention that. I'm being conservative. Just get over 25. We're adding a lot to the team this year. I think that's conservative, and I think he'll beat it. But with that, with Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox and Stephon, improving as well in year 2, just get to 25. Just get to 1.5 steals. I think he can do that. He's been close his first 2 years. Like I said, four assists, just getting over that number. I think you can make an argument he gets to 5 with the improved roster if people execute. And then I don't even if he does all those things, even if his boards went down, I wouldn't be mad. So I just said 10 plus boards.
Mm,
Um, and then okay, here I still got more to say. Continue to make shooting even more deadly in the mid range as well as from deep, because we saw the mid range jumper as well. Continue to add to his post bag. We've seen so many of those skill sets, but I feel like we can have even more sets with him in the post, back to the basket. You know,
agreed.
I feel like his spin moves on guys in the post is something that he can really just make unstoppable with his length and getting posters. Um, Continue to see more insane off the dribble stuff. I mean, just at his size, whenever he does something that looks like a point guard, it's just ridiculous. And I'm sure we'll see more of that. The 2-man game with De'Aaron, Steph, and Dylan. And this is the last thing, more pick and rolls and pick and pops with him as the ball handler. I'm going to
Mm,
list off a bunch of different players here, Ethan. Think about him and Jeremy, him and Kelly Olynyk, even him and Luke Cornett. But aside from that, you could even throw in Keldon.
mm-hmm.
Think about this, Steph, because Steph's got the physicality to
He
run it. Think
does.
about an inverted screen with Steph on Castle. That'd be insane because we know Steph can go to the rim. And then also, of course, long term, an inverted screen with Carter Bryant.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
That's my Victor diatribe.
I love it. I love the last point, but I really like the back to the basket point that you made too. We talked about that at nauseum going into
Mm-hmm.
last year, where just like patient offense, easy baskets. I think that he figured that out last year, but even more so, like you said, real patient low post offense would be great.
And I think in a lot of those sets, with the additional floor spacing that we've added, whether that be Julian Champagny taking somebody's minutes or Kelly Olynyk being added to the roster, as well as Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox consistently playing, and potentially Stephon Castle continuing to get better shooting the ball. Um, I think that can be, they can't zero in on him as much if we've got more effective shooters around him in those post positions.
1,000%.
Any final thoughts on old Vic?
No, on the French goat, no, no.